Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of No Mama Girl Mama. This is the place where we talk about all things related to health, wellness, and well-being for you and your family, which is every single topic probably you can think of. Today's episode, we're talking mommy chat again with Victoria, and we're talking about baby-wearing educators. And you might say to yourself, baby-wearing educators? What does that have to do with mental health? What does that have to do with health in general? Well, what it has to do with health in general is, for all of us, all of you who have been a new parent at one time, you will remember back how stressful those first few days and weeks were, how ill-equipped we all feel in those first few weeks, how we all feel like, where was that book someone should have given me on how to do all of these things that's never been written? And using a baby carrier can help with all of that. There's a lot going on in those first few weeks. There's a lot of mental health things that can be going on, not necessarily in terms of like the big postpartum mood disorders and those kinds of things, but just learning to live in this new life as a family. There's a lot of physical health things that can be going on, from recovery from delivery, mental health things that can be going on, and also just overall well-being, and learning how to now, instead of being husband and wife or partner and partner, into becoming parents together. So there's a lot related to health around that. And I wanted to chat with Victoria today about baby wearing, using a baby carrier, and baby wearing educators. So Victoria is a baby wearing educator.
I am indeed.
And Victoria is going to chat with us a little bit today about baby carrier use, how it can help, especially in those early days, the benefits, and why you might want to use a baby wearing educator to help you in those first few days. And Victoria, you're going to help me chime in on this as well, but I've always really thought of it no different than a parent will go and get help with their car seat, right?
Right.
We all have to figure out how to install that car seat correctly, and there is very few of us correctly the first time. And so thankfully, there's car seat technicians out there who can help us install that car seat to make sure our baby's safe.
Exactly.
Every time we buckle them into that car seat, they're safe in their ride. Also no different than, if you're nursing, getting a lactation consultant to help make sure that the process and baby's latch is correct, and there's enough milk and all of those kinds of things. Having a consultation not only can help with safety in some aspects, but it can also give you peace of mind.
Oh, that was the key word right there. I was like, if Jen doesn't say it, that's going to be my jump in point.
Flash it across the screen. Peace of mind.
Peace of mind. And that's what I would love to just that's my tagline, I think, baby wearing educators or baby carrying educators. We give you peace of mind. And that's really what we do. Exactly what you said. The reason why you would want to facilitate a consultation and bringing in a consultation with yourself and the other caregivers who are going to be primary caregivers in your home is exactly that. Baby carrying and keeping your baby close to you is a very natural feeling, especially navigating those first few weeks. You are learning to coexist with a brand new human being in your house. Having an educator consult with you will help you learn to use a tool, much like a car seat or a stroller or any of those other crazy baby apparatuses that you get, with ease and with confidence. And unlike some of the gizmos and gadgets that are out there, a baby carrier is truly one of those items that will facilitate creating an attachment bond with your baby. And even when that doesn't feel like the most natural thing.
Right.
I like to bring in the example of new dads, or maybe the caregiver who wasn't a caregiver who birthed the child, where sort of like an inherent connection is made. So the partner of that person needing to build that connection. I know that's what my husband used baby carrying for in the first few weeks, to really get that closeness, and he wanted to own something he wanted to own a task and learn about it because like using a baby carrier, it's not a natural skill. It's a piece of equipment that you need to use, again, much like the car seat. So an educator, just like you would hire a lactation consultant, just like you would call your sister-in-law who has 4 kids, who, knows all the ins and outs of parenting, just like you would consult with another trusted individual to give you correct information about using this product is exactly what you would get a baby wearing educator, and why you would contact a baby wearing educator like myself. And in terms of how I like to facilitate caregivers, it's in person would be ideal, only because then tactically I can show you, what buckles look like, really go through the ins and outs of your own carrier. But certainly, again, understanding as a new mom, as much as like I was being told, oh, you got to get out there, like I still wanted to stay in my own home. I was still trying to navigate that. So I do virtual options as well. I can come to your home. You could come to my home. So this is sort of where I facilitate my baby carrying sessions and my, learning to use a baby carrier sessions. I have a nursing space. I've got a change table in here. I try to make it really comfortable. And a good educator ultimately just wants to make you feel comfortable. Right. Because certainly a good educator, many educators know lots about different types of baby carriers, but if you want to sort of create a personal one-on-one connection, a good educator will really make you feel comfortable in whatever space that you're in, and just give you the peace of mind that you are learning this skill safely and correctly. Awesome. And with confidence.
Right. So you talked about, all the different carrier options and those kinds of things. I want you to help me bust a myth right now. So there has been an ongoing myth and this myth drives me crazy, and it is fed a little bit, I think, but it is a myth. There is this myth that baby carrying is a cliquey activity that sort of only, to pull from your words, like bougie mom.
I would definitely do that.
Yeah. I want to bust that myth and to go along hand in hand with that myth that if you step into the baby wearing world, you'll become one of those people who, only feeds their child a certain way, or have a huge, should we use the word, stash of baby carriers, right? Help me bust this myth. Yeah. That is not what a baby wearing educator is.
That's a very easily busted myth. I mean, busted. A good baby, very easily busted, I'll be honest. A good baby wearing educator wants to teach a caregiver what they need to know about safely using their baby carrier. And that's it. It's not to sell you the latest and greatest and like most unattainable wrap style carrier that you can get. Really, wearing your baby with a baby carrier is whatever you need it to be. And there's a myriad of bullet points on that list. Do you just need your hands free because you have 2 other little ones who need your, somewhat undivided attention? Do you need help fostering a deep connection with your baby because it wasn't inherently something that happened when they were born? Do you need support returning to your regular activities? Maybe you're someone who are very active. You want to get involved in fitness classes, going out for a walk and really, exploring a new range of motion while bringing your baby with you. Again, the bullet point list is endless of what you would use a baby carrier for and how we can make it fit your lifestyle. So a good educator just does simply that. So, as soon as you just type it in the Google, why did I say that? I didn't like
the Google machine.
The Google machine. As soon as you type it in Google or, your preferred search engine, yes, there's going to be a ton of stuff that comes up that really is going to bombard you with this overpowering sense of like, okay, whoa, I didn't want to get into this whole like community of individuals who are like savage when it comes to wrapping their kids. Yeah, I mean, if you want, although
I'm not knocking that because there is okay. It is okay for people to have hobbies and things that they enjoy.
For sure.
Different.
Yeah.
Enjoying listening to my salsa music or my soca music and get dance on. It's okay to enjoy that as a hobby for yourself.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about for the average.
No, exactly. And so certainly don't expect a baby wearing educator to be that type of individual, because any good, reputable baby wearing educator is really just going to make the consultation about the function of baby wearing safely and how it could best fit your lifestyle. So yeah, easy myth to debunk. Baby wearing educators aren't always enthusiasts.
It's so funny because so many people that I've run into in my lifetime have, even family members. Yeah, I'm not going to use one of those things because I'm not that type of person.
Right.
And I won't overstep and say, what type of person is that? Like someone who needs their hands free?
Right. Someone who wants to go on a brisk and vigorous walk.
What is that type of person? Someone who can vacuum and not have to hold on to their...
Right.
I don't know what that means.
You know, someone who's so tired of their fussy baby not wanting to be put down that they just need a frickin' break, but they still also need the baby to sleep.
Those
yes,
things.
We can help you with that.
Those things.
Exactly. So yeah, for sure. Any good educator is not going to shove any of those ideals down your throat. They're going to be there to help you understand the function and practice of baby carrying using a carrier. I mean, that's just the simple truth of it.
What it is. So let's say someone has never heard of, well, I'm sure they would have heard of baby carry, but never heard of the practice of baby wearing or baby carrier to achieve certain things in life. Let's say they've never seen our Wearing Wednesday series. It's all about using a baby carrier. Let's just say that. Can you run people through the 4 most common types of baby carriers that they're going to run into?
Absolutely.
And they're on a hunt for maybe looking at a carrier.
Yeah. And also rest assured, you're not alone in that. I speak to many, many parents where I almost assume like, oh yeah, so of course I'll get you set up with blah, 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 blah. And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, you don't know what a baby carrier is? Oh, let me tell you.
Oh, you mean that thing that sits in the car seat?
Right, exactly. So you're not alone if you have also, like, for the past 10 minutes, no idea what we're talking about. But ultimately, sorry, but
okay, we're going to bring you in now. A little late, but better late than never. We're going to bring you in now.
Around. So a baby carrier is basically a, you know, it can look anywhere from, oh, this is upside down. It can look anywhere from something like this, which is like, you know, it's got buckles and snaps, to something like this, where you've got these like ring loops and it goes across one shoulder, or it could look something like this, which is just like a super big long piece of fabric. So it can look like any number of these things, and sort of that also segues nicely into the top 4 categories of baby carriers. So there's wrap style carriers, there are buckle style carriers, there are ring style carriers, and there are like hybrids of any of the above. And so really what I say to people when you're looking to purchase a baby carrier, because
you show everybody an example of each.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we've got our wrap style carrier. So that's going to be the quote unquote intimidating long piece of fabric, which again, a good educator will tell you, don't even worry about being.
It is my first and only baby carrier.
Oh, love.
It is my love.
We've got the ring sling or the ring style carrier, which is going to go across one shoulder, create a little pouch that your baby can sit in. We have a buckle style carrier. So that's usually a soft or more structured panel with buckles and snaps that affix to your body. And then there is, let's see, a hybrid style of that, either of those carriers. So this would kind of be, so a hybrid would be like a soft panel, like a wrap style panel, but it buckles around the waist, for example. So those are your basic types. So when you're searching for, you know, a baby carrier and you think like, okay, well, we've piqued your interest. Fantastic. You know, what do I look for? What do I buy? What should I register for? Again, this might be the point where you might want to call in a baby wearing educator to say like, these are my hobbies. So I would say, what are you looking to do after your baby's born? Are you looking to resume physical activity right away? Were you a very athletic person and you need something that's going to fit that? Are you going to just be a homebody? You want to be spending a lot of time on the couch or whatever it is. Do you need something that's very portable, quick, fast, accessible? So many of baby carriers will fit these sort of bullet points. And so speaking to an educator will really help you nail down which carriers to register for. But I am going to give sort of like what I feel confident as a general good rule of thumb, your two best bets for carriers. So if you want to make a larger initial investment, because baby carriers, just like good car seats, good strollers, and other good baby products, are expensive on the more expensive side, depending. Again, a good educator, though, will give you a variety of price ranges. And if you set a budget for your baby wearing educator, be like, well, I really want a carrier that fits, this dollar range, a good educator should help you be able to find that.
And let's be honest, it is an investment in yourself to make sure that you're going to love the product, especially if you're expecting. It's a little different here, but that's a good way to make sure that your investment, no matter how big or small it is going to fit, and you're not going to waste your money. Because I think I can both agree, we have ran into so many families have been gifted carriers or who've selected carriers and then said, man, I really wish I had have known before asking for this carrier, buying this carrier myself, because it would have changed what I was looking for. So and a consultation with an educator is really just an investment to make sure that what you're investing in terms of a baby carrier will really truly suit you.
Exactly. Because I've had exactly what you said, a person who's purchased a buckle carrier that was, let's say, $60, sort of met their immediate needs, but then like, they fell in love with baby carrying, their child loves to be in the carrier, but now they've outgrown that $60 carrier. So now you got to buy the $150 carrier. And it's like, well, if you would have just bought the $150 carrier, you're netting at about like $210 now. So again, a quick consultation with a baby wearing educator, once you sort of go through your goals and what you want to sort of get out of, even if they're just so basic, we can make recommendations and typically find something in your price range, unless you're like, my price range is $25. I mean, it's tough, but again, you just have to sort of like,
at $25, you need to know you won't be using that carrier for very long.
Right? Exactly. And trust your educator
very quickly.
Right. And trust that your educator is going to make you make a sound investment based on, your needs and the lifestyle needs that you've, discussed with them.
It's like I'd like to just an educated sales rep at your fingertips who doesn't make a commission on the baby carrier of their choice that they're right to you, right? So that you're getting the best advice for you and not just the most expensive product they can sell you to get a high commission.
Exactly. And I've had so many families where and again, as soon as you type in that Google search, you will be bombarded by products. There are no limit to the number of baby carriers that are available right now on the marketplace. It is
overwhelming,
heavily saturated, but duly and rightly so. Baby carriers make life with a baby easier. So, manufacturers have tapped in on that, and again, rightly so. So that's what makes educators more important, because you are going to feel so bombarded by the number of carriers and types and brands that are out there that you're just going to want to know, like, okay, just which is the one for me? Just tell me. And literally a good educator should be able to be like, bam, this is exactly what you need, because educators, or a good educator, keeps abreast of all of the brands that are well-known, brands that are experiencing recalls, just in general, keeps abreast of everything happening in the baby wearing market.
Right.
in the baby wearing marketplace in terms of a product perspective.
Right.
But I really quickly wanted to touch back to say, on that whole note, like, what carrier do I buy? My general recommendation, depending on who I'm speaking to, I would say 80% of the clients that I talk to, my first recommendation is always the wrap carrier. So it's typically a stretchy wrap carrier or a hybrid stretchy wrap carrier. This is a hybrid. You couldn't tell because you can't see the fibers of the fabric, but this has stretch, but it's also woven fibers to support a heavier baby. You can get full-blown jersey stretch carriers. Fantastic in the newborn stage.
So soft.
So soft. It immediately accommodates the size of your baby, and like there's very little adjustment required because pretty much once, if it's properly affixed to your body, you're good to go. Excellent price point to start off with, and really can get you right up until like the 3-4 month mark with no issues. So usually I prescribe the happy marriage, and the happy marriage is a well-priced stretchy wrap or hybrid wrap carrier. Even this as a hybrid with woven is still at the $100 price range. So the happy marriage in my prescription is the wrap carrier, and then it is an adjustable buckle carrier. So this adjustable buckle carrier, this particular brand is by Ergobaby. And so an adjustable buckle carrier is fantastic because many of the new ones that are on the marketplace right now have the option for you to adjust the panel so that you don't need any special inserts. Again, this is something, as you do some research on baby carriers, you'll realize, oh, I have to have a special pocket. You know, when your baby is this weight to this weight, you need a special pocket inside. So I love these new adjustable structured buckle carriers because you've eliminated the insert. So this is the happy marriage. And I call it the happy marriage because while you could use this beautiful, soft, cuddly wrap carrier for like every activity under the sun at home, some people do find it easier to throw on an adjustable buckle carrier when they're out. Dads and other partners, maybe who are less baby equipment inclined, let's call it that, do prefer the buckle carrier. It's 2 snaps and you're done, basically. So this is my happy marriage. Okay, so we've got the wrap carrier, stretchy wrap, and an adjustable buckle carrier. So again, it can be overwhelming because within these 2 types of carriers, there's so many brands available. But again, an educator will help you narrow those brands because each brand brings something a little bit different to the table. So, you know, maybe you need to be, maybe you need special accommodations because you have a wider chest or a bigger waist or you're taller. So there's different specifications of carriers that a good educator would know those types of different products that are available. Again, all the more reason that I would just love the stretchy wrap because any body, literally any body, it goes on. And it's just one of those things. Anyway, so don't
I'm so glad you brought that up, actually, because in my head, one of the things I was interested to learn when I took the Babywearing Educator course as well was all those things you don't really think about. And that's when I really understood and learned the value of using a baby-wearing educator, because it's one thing for someone like me who's had 3 kids and kind of flip-flop my way through learning how to use a carrier. It's one thing for someone like me to go and tell people how to use baby carriers. Mm-hmm. There is some knowledge that you can gain by using the device yourself and sort of learning your way through it. But the thing with an educator is there's so much more knowledge that an educator learns and can use to help you specifically.
Absolutely. I mean,
because the size of a caregiver matters. And if you think about those situations where, you know, you might have a 4'9" mom and a 6'5" partner, and, you know, the 6'5" partner might be incredibly broad-chested, right? 4'9" mom, petite as anything. Right. So using a baby wearing educator who you can say, we're buying one carrier And what's that gonna be that's going to work for both of us, right?
Yep.
There's so much knowledge and understanding that goes into becoming a baby wearing educator.
Mm-hmm.
It's super valuable and important to be able to use well trained on this device.
Right. And that was what that's what I wanted to touch on. So let's come back to the peace of mind. Okay. So, I mean, let's be really honest. You can buy a carrier and read the manual and learn how to use it.
Sure can.
There's like, I'm not saying that that's what you need me for at all.
There's videos on YouTube.
Literally anybody can learn how to use a baby carrier. Yep. That is not what an educator's sole mission is under any circumstances. So my position as an educator is absolutely, if you didn't want to read the manual and you want to talk function, I mean, of course, that's absolutely going to be included in our
because there's a lot of people who want to feel their way through it as well. Right?
Exactly. But there are, that's like the tip of the iceberg. The other like 80% of what I teach you is safety. Number 1 through 17 of my steps is safety. Because again, just like using your car seat, it has to be buckled a certain way. Straps need to be tightened a certain way. Baby has to be in a certain position, just like in a car seat, it has to be like that on your body too. So 1 through 17, I'm talking to you about safety. And yes, these manuals do touch on safety, but I have the knowledge that touches on these safety points and why they're important at each stage of development.
Right. The manufacturers, like if we could take it one step further, the manufacturer's instructions really talk about the safety of the device itself.
Correct.
An educator talks about not only the safety of the device itself, but what that safety looks and feels and sounds like, as well as the safety of the next stage, and that is incorporating that device into real life.
Exactly. How to use the carrier safely when you do want to take brisk walks, when you do want to take a fitness class. All of those key components would be touched on. And when we're talking about safety, yes, we're absolutely talking about the safety of the baby, but we're also talking about the body mechanics and the safety of the wearer as well. You know, why do I need a certain strap to be positioned in a certain way or a certain place on your back is so that ergonomically you're taking care of your own body while you're using the baby carrier. No manual is going to tell you about that.
No manual is going to tell you, why is my lower back hurting when I'm using this type of
or the neck. That's the number one.
Yeah.
People have their clips all the way at the nape of their neck, and I'm like, oh God, how do you just? Ugh.
Yeah.
I've literally.
Or it may not be the right carrier for you.
Which absolutely.
Is why a consultation.
Or you might think, oh, I have the wrong carrier. My carrier is garbage, and I will do a couple of quick adjustments, and you're like, okay, best carrier in the world.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So fit and function. So when I talk about fit, what's encapsulated in fit for me is safety and ergonomics. Okay, so we talk about fit, which is safety and ergonomics, then function. How do we use the carrier? Function is, yes, how do we physically button everything up and where does it go? But it's also, can this carrier be used for fitness classes? Can this carrier be used for hiking? Can this carrier be used for, insert whatever it is that you want to do in use? So a consultant will be able to touch on all of these points, as well as the very basic part of actually helping you snap everything up and look that it's to be in the right place.
Right. Okay, so let's bust a few more myths here. So there's a lot of myths surrounding using a baby carrier or, being a baby wearing person. Bust a few of those myths for me. What is baby wearing or using a baby carrier not? What are the things that people are going to hear about using a baby carrier? And why?
I mean, any little amount of research that you're doing, you might come across the idea that using a baby carrier makes you like a crunchy mom, a hippie mom, I only exclusively breastfeed, and everything that comes into this whole realm of what an ideal mom is. And that is just like so far from what baby wearing
bust that myth just on its own, please.
Yeah. Like, it's just like using a baby
ideal mom. Come on.
Right. Using a baby carrier, first of all, is not just for a mom. Like that, like let's just start there. Using a baby carrier is really for any caregiver who wants to provide a close connection to the child that they're caring for. And so that could be daycare providers, that could be grandma, that could be grandpa. It's really about having the baby with you and meeting their attachment needs. So, when your baby is sleeping on your chest or your baby is, hanging out and they're close to your body to body, you're pretty much going to immediately know if they're uncomfortable or if they need something because they're right there. So we've eliminated that sort of like disconnect. But what baby wearing is it's not something that's done for fashion. It's not something that's done to be part of a certain community. Baby wearing is a function. It's a function of potentially your everyday life. And people use baby carriers to sort of ease that transition of being an individual to being now a family, a unit, and really just making that work for themselves. I've seen baby wearing and carrying your baby using a carrier improve moods of postpartum mothers, just like again, give dads and the non-primary caregivers really a sense of confidence and connection to their babies. And I mean, I don't know, can a car seat do that? I don't know, definitely not.
Right.
So, well, and an educator.
And the functionality of the baby carrier, if you really just get back to the basics, even if you take out the bonding, because that could be maybe not necessarily the primary focus for some people, the fact that it's a tool that allows you to get things done.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Is amazing for that. And it is amazing side effect, if you want to call it that also. Some people just want to use this tool because it's awesome to just get things done, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Leave your baby in a seat and go all through your house and vacuum, right?
Sure.
To stay near them. When
right.
using the baby carrier, it allows you the ability to do those kinds of things. Can we talk about that for a second?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I don't want people to get hung up on baby wearing being this like community of, again, yes, like if you want to go down that road, fantastic, but it certainly does not have to be that at all. If you simply just like, attachment piece aside, connection piece aside, if you just want this tool just to make your life easier and hands-free, hell yes.
It'll do it.
It'll do it. I mean, you can have your baby next to you, which again, for me as a sort of a nervous first-time mom, I wanted my son with me all the time, but I also am a very diligent cleaner. So vacuum, mop, dishes, away from heat cooking, so like chopping or whatever. He was with me all the time. Family parties. Okay, let's talk about another basic thing, just something super basic. So let's say at home, you're comfortable. Outside of the home, maybe you have a little bit of social anxiety. Well, someone with
my baby.
Someone with social anxiety does not want anyone to touch their baby. And I can say that confidently. And so your baby carrier, just as a function of that, I want to be out.
Nobody's going to be reaching their fingers in here.
Right.
To touch the baby.
And I want nobody to touch my baby. Yeah. No problem. I want to be able to work out and bring my baby with me. Absolutely no problem. Depending on the type of activity, a good educator will be able to tell you safely what kinds of fitness classes and fitness activity you can do while using a baby carrier. So it doesn't have to be all of the above. It could just be literally segments of things that you want to do. I just need a baby carrier so I can vacuum my house. No problem. Whatever you want it for is fantastic. But I hope that it leads you down the road of consulting with an educator so that you could really maximize on the benefits of the carrier and make sure that you're making a sound investment.
Right. So for those busy families out there who might be hearing all of this and thinking, yeah, but a consultation, like I don't have hours to sit and talk about a baby carrier. Run us through quickly what a standard consultation with let's just say yourself.
For sure.
What does that look like?
So I will tell you, like 90% of my interactions have gone this way. Someone will private message me on a social media platform or send me a text message because my contact information was given to them by another parent that I facilitated for. We'll have a quick chat about like, oh, hey, are you Victoria? You could teach me about a baby carrier. Yes, I can. That's me. I'm that same Victoria. I will write in that interaction right there. If you called me, that means you'd like to talk on the phone, I'll talk to you on the phone. If you texted me, I'll text you. If you private message me on a social media platform, I'll message you through that. However you connected with me, I'm not going to waste that opportunity. I know as a parent, your time is valuable and you've got me. I'm not going to just go through all this rigmarole, all this BS. We're going to talk right straight then exactly why it is that you're contacting me. What do you need to know? Based on that information, I will decide whether or not, like, you know, you really should come by my place, check out my carriers, or maybe I can meet you at a park. You could check out the carriers. Or, you know what, if you just want to see what some carriers look like, we could set up an internet call. But if I know that you need to see a carrier, that's going to be my next step. So it'll just be one of those 3 ways of us virtually connecting. Sometimes, though, somebody reaches out to me for a very basic question, and I can usually answer it on the spot. So let's say though you do need to have a virtual session or an in-person session. It's very informal, and I do not have a one-size-fits-all speech that I give. I find out exactly what it is that you need to know. Hey, Victoria, I'm registering for my registry. I'm setting up my registry. I need to know what carrier to put on there. Hey, Victoria, someone gifted me this Ergo baby carrier. I need to know how to use it. Hey, Victoria, like my baby's not sleeping. My baby wants to be carried all the time. Can I use a baby carrier to help me with this? So whatever age and stage that you're in, hey, I'm going on a flight. I need to know what carrier I can use for my toddler. Whatever age and stage that you're in, I will cater that consultation to your needs. So don't let the words, educator, facilitator, consultation, don't let that scare you. I am extremely informal. Although my information is very poignant, important, and relevant and correct, I'm an informal human being. And I will cater my consultation to exactly what your needs are based on our initial conversation. And I will not let you guess what we need. I will tell you what is required. I mean, I will tell you, no, we have to do this in person, or no, I can do that over the call, over video, or I can just call you if you want. There's no guesswork. You don't ever have to think like, oh, what is Victoria going to need? I'm going to tell you exactly what you need in order for our consultation to be successful. Now, sometimes in a small percentage of the meetups that I do, there's a follow-up required. So let's say you came to me because you wanted to know what baby carrier to register for. Well, now you got that baby carrier and you want to know how to use it. Okay, so I can help you out with that. Or maybe we were together, you came in because you had an Ergo baby carrier, like, I love this carrier's life. But then I showed you this wrap carrier and you're like, yeah, that carrier's life. I need that carrier. And then you left and then you bought it and then we need to talk about it. Something like that. So we could have like a telephone chat or an in-person meeting, and then subsequently either need another in-person meeting or another video chat, depending on what's required. So it's, again, there will be no guesswork on your part when you work with me. I tell you what we need based on your needs, and I do not waste your time. I'm just not a firm believer in that.
Right. Okay. So if families were to remember 2 things about what we shared with them today, either about using the tool of a baby carrier or using the services of a baby wearing educator,
right,
what would those 2 most important things you would want them to remember be?
So the 2 most important things I need you to remember is that a baby wearing educator is there to help you and cater to your needs and help you understand the world and realm of using a baby carrier. And the second piece of advice is do not be afraid of a wrap, and always remember my happy marriage, wrap and buckle carrier.
Right. That's beautiful. And really and truly, once you have that figured out, let's wrap that back around to the health, wellness, and well-being for the families, right? It just makes life so much easier.
It does. It does. Let's just
Life is easy,
if,
stress is gone.
right. If we had to just cap it off with a statement, it's just that, you know, a baby carrier is an incredible tool to make your life easier. And a baby wearing educator gives you the peace of mind to use it with ease.
Right. Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for chatting with me today, Victoria, on education and baby carriers. Guys, I hope you got a few little tips and tidbits. I'm going to put Victoria's contact information if you need some help with your baby carrier, or maybe you have a friend or family member who's expecting and you want them to make sure that they get the best tool in the parenting toolbox.
Yeah.
We're going to put Victoria's information in.
And even if, we could also talk about, like, if I'm not local to your area, or like, it's also not a situation where it's like, you have to come to me. I know what's up. Don't go to anyone else. No, I will help you get in contact with a facilitator who can help you in your area, especially if you want, crave, or need an in-person connection for this consultation.
Beautiful. Awesome. We will see you next week, guys, for another episode of No Mama Girl Mama. Thanks, Victoria.
Bye.